Hey everyone, this is Amir, and in this video now we are going to build finally the design center sheet in Google Sheet and retrieve data from the platform APIs. So let's go again back to the Google Sheet we have prepared so far. Just as a quick summary, what we have done is we have created a credential sheet where we enter the URL, username, password, and here this cell is using a formula which basically uses the URL, username and password, and creates and retrieves the token from the Anypoint platform. Additionally, we receive all the user information, including the organization ID, as well as the environments with the different environments we have currently. So now, as a next step, what we are going to do is we are going to retrieve the design center information. So all the projects you have created here will be displayed in the Google Sheet. So as a first step, what we are going to do is we are going to create a new sheet and call it Design Center Projects. And within Design Center Projects, we will decide what is the data we want to retrieve here. So first thing is clear, we need to have again an index column, which will include different numbers, so we can really use it in a flexible way. Let's say ID, name we should have. And now let's go to the Postman collection pack to see what additional data it can provide. So go to Postman, and you can see I have already opened my collection pack. I'm on the login, so I can log in here. I retrieve a token. Then as a second step, as mandatory, you have to retrieve your profile information. And then you continue with the Design Center project, which is under the node Design Center Projects subfolder, Get All Projects. And this is basically the URL we will be using. So let's hit it here, and we receive a couple of information. So ID is there, which is good. Name is there. We can see there is a type as well. So I think this makes sense to use as a type in Google Sheet. What else do we have which makes sense? So organization ID, we have it here anyway, so we don't need to display this. I guess let's get also the created date and last updated, and maybe also the storage information and the URL of our Design Center project. So let's retrieve these information. So I will first copy the type here and move it into our Google Sheet. So like this. Then we have the storage information, what type of storage it is, and we have the external URL. What else do we need? We have the environment, in this case is 0, so let's say created date and last updated date. That would be it in order to build the sheet with the right information. Okay, so once we have it, we can start building our sheet here. And as we expect the Design Center projects to be a table in Postman, so you can see it is an array here. So we need to make sure that we cover all the different items which are in the list and display it in Google Sheets. So therefore we need these numbers. I think with the user what I'm using, we have more, so let's go for it. And now let's try to retrieve the first item, where we will be fetching JSON again. The first thing we need is the URL. We have stored the URL, as you remember, in here. Oops. So it is here. So this is A2. So in Design Center project, we say again fetch JSON credentials A2 and a dollar in between, because this will stay always the same. And we need to concatenate here the additional URL for the design center itself. So I think until projects, this is good. And in the URL, you can see we have also the organization ID, which we definitely need to replace here with the organization ID we extracted from in the user information list. So let's say this is B5. So I go back here again, and then it is user information $5, as it will be always there. Not sure if I have removed the correct one, but I think it is the right one. Let me remove the org ID as well and quickly check if it is the right one. So no, I'm missing out the organization, so I did a mistake here. And here at the end of the organization, I need to have the slash. And this is the URL. The next thing we need is the token. Token is again in the credential sheet. So again, credentials $D2, $D2, and we need a XPath. So in this case, and this is now a bit tricky, what we have directly the first row, right? So we have the first row, and in the first row we want to retrieve the ID. So we have to start with 0/ID, and that would be it. Let's see if it is working. Currently it says error. So there is an issue. Let me check what could be the issue here. It needed just a bit time to retrieve the data. So now you can see it's here. So what I need to do is I need to remove the 0 with A2 basically, because A2 contains the index, which will be then 0, and that would be it. So I can now take it to the bottom. And okay, so I missed something, sorry. I have to put here a $, and here also a $. And now I can just drag and drop it until the field 18. And this should be coming with all the different IDs. And in case you retrieve errors at a specific row, you can say if error and just catch the error with, if there is an error, you just display nothing. Yeah. And that's it. So then you have it covered for the rest. And we are just going to copy this and do the same for the name. So let's put it here for the name. And basically do the same, or basically, one second. I could do the if error directly here. And that would be it for the name. Then we have the same for the type. So it's all RAML more or less. Then we do it for the storage type. This will be VCS storage type. It's all good, but it's a way to show you how you can retrieve information In this case, we are just retrieving it for documentation purposes. So you can really do a lot when using Google Sheet and the formula with combination of the Postman collection pack. You can retrieve really the data you need. So this external URI is also retrieved here to 18. And then finally we would have here, so let's do it like this. We have the creation date, created date, and you have the last updated date. And that was it. That's how simple you can use the Postman collection pack in combination with Google Sheet to retrieve the information you need from your Anypoint platform and create a nice documentation with a simple approach. So that was it. In the next video, we are going to look into how you retrieve information from Exchange, and we'll create a sheet for the Exchange portal. Thank you. That was it.